Well. It wouldn't be a Bears start to your week if there wasn't Overreaction Monday. Overreaction Monday is definitely in the case in terms for the Chicago Bears because they lost and they lost pretty embarrassingly, and it wasn't a good loss. It was, for all intents and purposes, a bad loss. Everybody played like crap. Um, I gotta make sure I watch my words now because YouTube, I guess, what is it? They're they're I guess hammering down on people in their words. So I need to make sure for all my recording videos going forward, I at least don't drop crazy like swears or anything, but whatever. It is what it is. Yes, Overreaction Monday. I just kind of wanted to give just some thoughts after the game and then just going all over the TL. People on Twitter were just like, man, maybe we need to get rid of Fields and everything. Maybe we need to drop the quarterback. He's not doing it. Fields had his worst game as a passer, yesterday. Probably the first time, he's had his worst game as a passer since I think the Texans game. But after that, he's been on fire, throwing and running the ball. And that's kind of the thing, a lot of people are obviously upset at Fields again. It can be justified in some cases. He's just not playing. He hasn't played. He didn't play good yesterday. But again, we have to set our expectations and lower them to the extent. And that's kind of the thing about the Bears fan base. We've been so derived of being a successful winning team. Some fans are actually kind of fickle as hell. They think that, we make this change here, this change there. Everything will be fixed. Everything will be solved. We'll be on the winning ways. And, the fans don't really truly realize how much it takes to build a team, build a winning, successful team. And at the same time, not only build a winning team, keep it going consistently. Like, for example, the Detroit Lions, they look good. I wouldn't say they look good, but they look solid this year, and they're contending for a playoff spot. The Jacksonville Jaguars this year, they're out there going to the last week. Pretty much playoff lives are on the line. They could be in the playoffs going into, after this upcoming week of football against after the Tennessee Titans. And guess what? Those teams that for all intents and purposes, like the Lions and the Jaguars, they looked like a well-coached team late into the year, and they looked pretty good, and their future looks bright. They could easily turn around and be a bad team again, and that's kind of the thing with the Bears. They would have this one good year, and then they go back to being dog crap again. And it's this whole thing of having consistent success, being consistently successful, having these successful, positive, good seasons on a consistent basis. Again, that's what we're building. So when I think Bear fans are fickle and everything, they think like, oh, we can fix this. Like literally, people thought, oh, Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace are gone? Problem solved. Problem is solved. Day is saved. We're going to be so good. And people fail to realize, well, the roster plays into a fact of that and everything. And, again, I was one of them. I thought, I was wrong. I thought the Bears could at least, based on what I saw in the preseason, I thought the Bears could be a little bit better than what I thought they were. I thought, hey, maybe this team doesn't make the playoffs, but maybe they're good enough to maybe be in the hunt. But if anything, I could only see them winning 5 or 6 games this year. And I completely flopped on that. I made videos on this channel. Heck, one of my highest viewed videos on this channel, was the Louis Riddick shit talking video saying that, oh crap, I swear, whatever. Where Louis Riddick came on national airways and said, yeah, the Bears are going to be one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league. And only a few months later, and so far 2 days into the new year, Louis Riddick's point is pretty much valid and is right. And I honestly look at that video and I'm like, shit, Again, I freaking swore again. Damn it. I'm like, shoot. I really freaking I really ate my words. I gotta eat my words on that one. And that's kind of the thing. You know, the Bear, listen, you know, I'm not critiquing Bear fans. You can fan how you want to fan. But the one thing I don't like about the Bears fandom is they think this one fix, having this one thing, will make the team good. When in reality, this team has issues. You look at the Bears concurrently constructed, they have issues. They have issues. They have issues on the defensive and offensive line. They have issues at the wide receiver position. They have issues at the linebacker position right now. So far, what might be the solid position so far to the point is probably the defensive backfield when fully healthy. That seems like it's a solid unit right now. Outside of Jack Sanborn, the linebackers you can question. Like, I don't know if the linebackers are any good. The defensive line's definitely not good. The offensive line is definitely not good. Your running backs are fine, but it's kind of up in the air with Montgomery's contract being up. So will we resign Montgomery? Again, it will vary how much we're paying him, but after looking at Khalil Herbert, and even when you look at the play of Tristan Ebner, you know, this season, you're like, well, we might need to re-sign Montgomery, especially for pass blocking situations. If you watched the game yesterday, I talked about in that game recap. I thought Khalil Herbert did a piss poor job at pass blocking. He didn't even engage the blitzer, and he got blown up, which the dude got the sack on Fields. So it's like, you know, that's kind of the thing. And then the quarterback, some people think, no, that's set in stone. He is the guy. I believe he's the guy with what I see in the season. Yes, it's not, the numbers aren't impressive to people, but, you know, you have to look at the whole situation he's in. And I think if given better supporting cast, he will do better, especially on the offense side of the ball. So for now, honestly, to be honest, you can say right now, Justin Fields is a locked piece, but it's locked on the point where it's like, okay, he's got to have a good year based on the supporting cast around him going into next year. Like I said, the receiver room isn't proven outside of probably, you know, Mooney and Claypool. Everybody else, could care less. And then tight end room, it's nothing really special either. That's another issue too. Only real thing is probably Komet there, but the other two, Wesco, Ryan Griffin, they're nothing special. They suck. They haven't done anything important, you know? So this team has issues all over the case. And heck, you can even say maybe on the coaching staff, there are some issues as well. You know, there's some of the coaches make question, you know, in terms of in terms of Alan Williams and Lou Getsy, very questionable decisions. And you can even question Eberflus at times. I'm not saying fire Eberflus one season, you know, but you can even question some decisions about Eberflus. You're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, you can raise that concern awareness, you know, and everything. And then the other coaches on the staff, you know, you can probably do that. I would look at the defensive line and the offensive line coach and be like, what the hell are you guys coaching these guys up? What are you doing? Especially the offensive line coach, you know, Chris Morgan, you know. Honestly, if he's one of the guys that is let go after this season and they get a new offensive line coach, I'm completely fine with that. Because it seems like his whole coaching ain't working. Because guys are getting beat fairly easily. Because you look at the offensive line was dog crap. They were getting beat the moment the ball was snapped. And it wasn't even close. There was already pressure in Justin Fields' face. You know? And, you know, the fact that, you know, people are going out there on Twitter and everything, they're judging Fields for just a bad game he had, you know, it's just a bad game. They're like, oh, he's not the guy and everything, but you got to look at the supporting cast that's built around him. It's not good. His offensive line can't hold a damn block for 1 second. The moment the ball is snapped, you have one, whether it's a guard or a tackle, that already loses their assignment and they can't block. And the defensive line for the opposing team already's beating them, getting onto Fields. What the hell are you supposed to do about that? If you were back there, you probably would be struggling just like Fields alone. And again, that could mess up Fields' psyche and everything, not make him look confident. Again, there's times in the game where the camera panned on his face. He looked a little bit unsure. He looked a little bit nervous. don't blame him for having all those feelings and everything. Yes, he still needs to play better. He still needs to play better. There's moments in the game where you can tell he's holding onto the ball too damn long. He needs to get rid of the ball, get away, just throw it away if there's nothing there. So guess what? You're not taking sacks. You're not getting unnecessary hits. And then two, if there's nothing there, freaking check it down. If there's any close check down, which again relies on Getsy, why is there not a lot of check downs? Why is there not a lot of quick routes being thrown? You know, in your scheme, you're running these deep concepts, but you know your offensive line cannot hold as long, which again, it goes to the whole questionable play calling. I think Getsy might need to change up his game plan. He can't be doing these deep routes, these things like that. Having more drag routes, having maybe slants, hitches, quick routes where Justin Fields can be 1, 2, 3, get it out of his hand before the rush gets there. You know, we've seen other quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, for example. You know, he had a bad offensive line last year. What did the Bengals do? They had, not only did they have really great receivers, but they managed to do quick routes to get the ball out of his hands fast enough. So guess what? The offense could still be in a flow. So it doesn't keep the whole offensive line thing an issue and things like that. You know, that's kind of the thing that just sucks. You know, I don't know why Luke Getsy, and I've been calling for this. If I could talk to the man, you know, in person, I'd ask him, why not run more quick routes? Why not have more slants, hitches, you know, drag routes, anything for, you know, more check downs if in passing sets where Fields can just check it down to the back and everything. Why not have that to keep the offensive flow going to help out your young quarterback? So guess what? When a defense might be coming in, that's when you then go over the top and you beat the defense. I'm not saying completely do that every time. Take shots every now and then, but still, you know, shut up the short passing game so then you can open it up, and then also on top of the run, yada, yada, yada. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, a lot of fans have been very overreactionary based to Fields' play, and again, he didn't play good. Yes, he didn't play good at all outside that first quarter, and he needs to definitely play better, but you got to look at the supporting cast built around him. You know, defense line didn't show. You know, defense, they're not showing up, and yes, they're just not doing their job. The offensive line ain't doing their job. You know, receivers, in some cases, they can't get open and everything. Sometimes, you know, I think it's a whole factor of, you know, Fields needs to get the ball out because what maybe NFL open to Fields, he thinks it's not open, but he's just got to take that shot and he's got to take that chance. That's kind of the one thing I want to go into next year with Fields is, listen, dude, just take the chance. Just have that effort mindset where it's like, you know what? I got an arm, I got a cannon, I can throw the ball this fast that I can get past that defender, pretty much, you know? And that's kind of the thing. You know, there receivers definitely got to work in the game on their game, and it's most of the ones that are returning, which is probably Claypool, Mooney, and Fields and Kmet. Again, those three, they have to work in the offseason. Some of these players have to work in the offensive line. You know, honestly, I probably would not pencil in anybody starting for next year. You know, that includes Tevin Jenkins. You know, he's always hurt, so you can't really rely on him. You know, Braxton Jones, yes, he has his promising moments, but I still see him time and time again. He's getting blown up on straight bull rushes. That's unacceptable. And he's letting up sacks. Again, that guy, he needs to get in the weight room. He needs to have a good diet. He needs to eat. He needs to get bigger. He needs to improve his strength. So guess what? He can hold his base and not get blown up by those bull rushes. That's got to happen. Ryan Poles has to do his job, get some solid offensive linemen in, maybe to have a few draft picks, you know, where that's the case, you know, and everything. So that's kind of the thing, you know, and then again, the coaches, that's kind of the coaches, some of the coaching decisions need to be better. They need to be better. Again, Getsy, he can play call a little bit better of a game. He can, like I said, implement short routes. If I was an offensive coordinator, I'd be having short routes going on. I'd just be having that happen. Set up my quarterback, make him get in a rhythm, make him have confidence, say, okay, I can do this. I got this, you know, instead of just shotgun and then you got receivers running 5, 6, 7, 8 yards deep. And it's like, no, that's not going to improve his confidence. Have him be able to have these short routes, these slants. Like yesterday, we ran a slant to N'Keal Harry. I'm like, Oh my gosh. I've been asking for that. Can we do more of that? And they actually got a good chunk gain on a 2nd and 16 and everything. And it's like, can we do more of the slant routes, please? Everybody does in the NFL and it works, but I see the Bears, they don't do that. It's like, watch these other teams, they do some of the more simpler concepts, and then I see the Bears, they make things harder for themselves, and they don't freaking do that stuff. I'm like, just run that, and everything. So, yeah, and that's why Getsy, he needs to understand the offensive line is not like Green Bay's offensive line that is solid. You got the Chicago Bears offensive line, it's not good, and that's why it goes to Pelt Poles and Ian Cunningham to do their job to be able to, guess what? To be able to improve the offensive line and get the job done. But, that's kind of the thing, and again, questionable decisions. Questionable decision, yesterday. Yes, I understand. Me and Eberflus said that, okay, we had internal discussions, of sitting Fields down and everything. And we talked that with Fields, and he still want to go out there and play. But at some point, as the head coach, you just can't completely listen to your player. You have to save your player from yourself. That's why I'm hoping going into next week, going into the final week of the season, the Bears just announced Justin Fields will be out this week. He'll just be a healthy scratch because there's no point in playing him because he's going to get hurt behind this atrocious offensive line. Even if the Vikings play their backups, I still won't put him out there. You don't want him to risk getting hurt. I hope Ryan Poles comes down to Eberflus and say, listen, I understand you may want to play, and I understand Fields may want to play. Tell him, because you're the coach, you're the head coach, save him from yourself. I'm a coach myself. I coach football too. And sometimes, for example, a story, again, my kicker, he also does a little bit of DB work too. And it was kind of late in the game. He was like, coach, let me get in. I'm like, okay, give me just one play. And then that's it. Done. I had another coach feeling like, hey, he shouldn't be out there. He's going to get himself hurt probably. So after that one play, even though he's like, coach, but keep me out there. I'm like, come on, dude, come back. We don't want you to get hurt. You're valuable to us because you're our kicker. You're all we got. You get hurt out there, guess what? I'm the guy who gets in trouble because I put you out there. And that's what, Eberflus, I think, needs to do. He needs to have that one-on-one conversation with Justin. Say, listen, dude, don't be down. I understand you want to go play with your guys. You want to go play with your boys. You want to finish out this season with your dudes. But I'm trying to save you from yourself from getting hurt. You are our future. You are the franchise quarterback. You are the guy. We cannot let you play a meaningless football game against the Vikings, who, for all intents and purposes, they may be just sitting down their freaking backups. That shows you how meaningless it is. I understand you probably want to put a show on for the fans and maybe end the season off with a W on a win, but it's no point in doing that. I want to save you for yourself. You're sitting down for this week. Guess what? Nurse up your injuries, the little nagging injuries you got and everything. And that's what Eberflus has to do. I think at some point Eberflus this week has to realize, because the media is definitely going to ask him, are you going to sit Justin down, for this week? He's going to give that answer like, no, sit him down for this week. Just have that conversation with him. Tell him, dude, it's not the end of the world. I understand you're a competitor, but I'm going to sit you down just to protect you. From what we saw last week, we don't want you getting hurt out there. So, and I think Fields will understand. Yes, he'll probably be disappointed that he can't play, but I know he'll understand that the coaches really do truly care about him and care about his health. That would speak to your future. Honestly, speaking of next week, the only guys I would probably sit next week are Fields, Claypool, and Kmet. Those are my only healthy scratches. Everybody else can freaking play, for all crying out loud. Everybody else on the team can play. All the rookies from this draft class, they can play. All the players, can play and everything. You just have Nathan Peterman start as the backup. Simple as that. And you would probably more than likely lose the game, even to the backups. Those will be the only three guys I'd sit down and risk of not getting hurt. I'd just sit Cole Kmet, Claypool, and definitely Justin Fields. But that's what I would do. I don't know if the Bears will do that. I know Eberflus will do that. I hope for my sanity he does that, because I don't want to go into next week and the next thing you know, I see Fields writhing on the ground in pain, and then I'm just looking at the head coach be like, you freaking idiot. We told you, the media told you, the fans told you, just sit him freaking down. But okay, you want to be a competitor in a meaningless game. And then guess what? He'll look like a dumbass. Excuse my language. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. I just want to get my thoughts. I thought too many Bear fans were having these overreactions. You just got to look at what the Bears are built. They tore this thing down from last season after Nagy and Pace were fired. Poles literally traded away your best players on defense. And guess what? Of course. Because guess what? There was no point. You're eating more dead cap than the cap space you have. You know? You let Allen Robinson walk. He hasn't been good. Khalil Mack made the Pro Bowl this year, but let's be honest. I barely heard his name, at all this season outside probably maybe the first couple of games this season. But other than that, what has he done? You can question the fact, how the hell did he make the Pro Bowl? That's definitely on reputation base. Simple as that. Robert Quinn, you haven't heard anything about Robert Quinn. He was on IR for the Eagles. Roquan Smith, another guy just like Khalil Mack. I don't hate those players. I think they're really good players. Really great players. But they get traded away from the Bears. All of a sudden, they make the Pro Bowl again. Or they make the Pro Bowl. Roquan Smith, first time making the Pro Bowl. I barely heard his name in Baltimore at all. Yeah, he's had some flashes. Really, his best game as a Raven was that Pittsburgh Steelers game, the first time they played in Pittsburgh. But other than that, I haven't heard Roquan Smith's name at all. So you see how many issues the Bears, you see how much issues the Bears had. So the fact that Bear fans legitimately are crazy and overreacting and very pissed off. I'm not saying you can pissed off. The one thing I take away from yesterday, the one thing you can be absolutely 100% pissed off is the effort the Bears players gave. Because after the first quarter, the Bears packed it in. They didn't care. None of the players looked like they gave two craps about the game playing in front of them. And again, that goes to the coaching staff for not having these guys keeping these guys motivated, having these guys prepared to play. That's on the coaching staff. That's on the entire organization as a whole, right there. The entire team, So that's the only thing I would take away that I would be super pissed about. But everything else, you can't really control. It's just a bad football team. Just a bad football team. Simple as that. And, people can give their reactions however they can, but you can't change this whole issue overnight. My thing is this. Next year, you make the improvements you need to make. Next, year 2 for this regime needs to be, okay, you're on it good, but you got to show some progress. At least show some progress. You're heading in the right direction. You can't have another bad year like this year. At least show some progress going in the right direction. And then year 3 of the regime should be, guess what? Maybe next year you're in the hunt for the playoffs, but you barely miss it. Year 3 is when, guess what? All right, you should have the team enough. Justin Fields will be in his 4th year with his contract year coming up and everything, especially if he plays well in his 3rd year as an NFL pro. 4th year, he should have his breakout year pretty much, where he goes crazy and everything, and that's when you should be in the playoffs. So by the time the Bears can make the playoffs, it may not be next year. It might be 2024, 2025-ish when the Bears finally make the playoffs and everything and hopefully be a consistent winner. But that's just me. I just want to give my thoughts. I thought there was a lot of overreaction. Again, it's overreaction Monday. But at the end of the day, listen, guys, Bear fans, the Bears are a bad football team. And if you expected anything more, really, what could you say? When you trade away half these good, solid, really good players on your team, it pretty much tells you that, guess what? They're gonna just do the rebuild. So it's gonna be interesting to see where the Bears go again. Me and my Uncle Gerald will be back this week, not only giving our weekly recaps for week 18, the final week of the NFL season, as well as we will also be giving our Bears versus Vikings game recap this upcoming Sunday, as we end up, the Bears season. And then, a few days after that game recap, we'll do our Bears season 2022-2023 season review, where we give in-depth thoughts about all the Bears. We're going to talk about, our thoughts on the coaches, more than likely just the DC, the OC, special teams coordinator, and then obviously Matt Eberflus, all the positions, breakdowns, give our thoughts, okay, how do we thought this side things, make out some names of certain players that, guess what, we think for all intents and purposes are more than likely going to be gone, and some players that did a good enough job to stay for another year. Everything. And then obviously, being the whole Bears free agency news stuff and everything. So yeah, but anyways, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this stuff and everything. Your thoughts? Do you think some fans will overreact? Some Bear fans are overreacting to what happened yesterday? Do you think screw the overreactions? It's valid reactions, stuff like that, or other things. But anyways, guys, catch you guys next video. Till then, guys, stay safe there and have a great rest of your day. Peace.